Hello everybody, this is Lara from Pure Elliott Wave with an update for Bitcoin technicals and XRP Elliott Wave and technicals. I am putting together a new course, and this is because people have asked me to create this, so I'm going to, and I finally figured out how to do it. It's turning out to be really difficult, so it's taking me a while. It'll be probably 9 or 10 lessons. It will be giving you very practical advice on how to use Elliott Wave in trading and investing. You have to know your Elliott Wave rules and structures and guidelines. You have to be fairly proficient with understanding how to do Elliott Wave in order to do this course, which is why it's called Advanced Course, and you need to have some technical analysis skills and understanding as well. If you're interested in an advanced Elliott Wave course, very much focused on the practical application of using Elliott Wave to make money, then go to my website. There is a link in the description box below, and click on the button. You'll be taken to a sign up page where you can give us your email address, and I will let you know when I've finished creating it, and you can get advance notice of a special launch price, which will only ever be offered once at this special price. So click on the link below and get notified. Let's get into it. Bitcoin is moving lower. It's broken out of this consolidation. It had resistance about 100,000 to 106,000, had really strong support at 92,000. It's closed well below that. It's moving lower. I'm not expecting any new lows below about 73,500 to 73,800 because there's a very strong area of support created by this prior resistance back in March, May, July, etc. last year. So I'm expecting that this may be a backtest of support within the larger secular bullish market. Bitcoin doesn't move in a straight line. It has short-term bear markets, it has pullbacks along the way up. This is a normal, healthy, to be expected part of the larger secular bull market. For my own investing purposes, I haven't sold, I'm still hanging on. I'm not concerned at all. I did expect this from my main Elliott Wave count, which I do every Monday for my subscribers at Pure Elliott Wave. A little bit of push from volume, but overall volume is declining. So far we can't really draw a conclusion from this completed week, but overall the last completed week was declining. This completed week looks like it's probably going to be weaker than the week beginning 2nd of February, so not a lot of very strong push from volume as price moves lower. So this isn't particularly concerning in terms of bearishness, so I'm not expecting it to fall too much further. On balance volume at the weekly is within a range, no breakout. ADX is declining, there's no clear trend. There was single bearish divergence between price and RSI after RSI reached overbought. There was single bearish divergence between money flow and price after money flow reached overbought. Neither of them are below 50, so there is plenty of room again for the downward trend to continue further lower, or for price to continue sideways to further relieve extreme conditions before the next bullish run is ready to begin. ATR was increasing as price moved higher, now declining as price moves sideways and lower, so there's not a lot of strength in this downward movement. So not a great concern for bulls. This is a normal to be expected movement within the larger secular bullish run. And I'm investing in this for the long term. I just don't think it's a good idea to day trade in a market with extreme volatility like this unless you're a very experienced and successful trader with a proven strategy that you're comfortable with. My approach to markets with extreme volatility like this is to buy when prices are low, hold throughout volatility, and sell some years later when prices are high. At the daily time frame, the current session may be completing a very bullish hammer candlestick pattern. I'd be watching that one very carefully. If we see some strength in upward movement in the following days, we may have a low in place. But for now, there is a downward trend, so expect it to continue, possibly to find support about 73,800, and again I'm not expecting lows below that point. Volume is strongest most recently on a bullish candlestick, and volume was pushing price higher. Now volume is declining overall as the price is falling. Again, not a lot of strength in this downward movement for the short term. The last signal from on balance volume was bearish, no new range, no new signal, and there's been some follow through from that, so that signal could now be resolved. ADX at the daily time frame is now extreme, not very extreme, it's not above 45 yet, but it is above both DX lines, so this downward trend is already extreme. RSI is oversold. Now if we see pivots develop and we see some bullish divergence, that would be a very strong indicator that a low has been found. We don't have that yet. RSI could move further deeply into oversold. We could see a little bit more downward movement and a little bit of bullish divergence develop, possibly, before a final low is found for this bearish movement. Money flow is neutral, it hasn't reached oversold. With a very short term, a little bit of an increase in ATR as price moves lower. Now Bitcoin does tend to end its downward movements with strength, and it can be a little bit of time before we start to see any strength in the following upward movement. Lows for Bitcoin are very, very hard to identify, and sometimes you have to be quite patient, and you can only confidently identify them some weeks sometimes after the low has been formed. I'll be looking out for any bullishness up off the low. I'll be looking for bullish candlestick patterns. We may be getting one today in a hammer. I'll be looking for any bullish divergence now that RSI has reached into oversold. So the next week is going to give us some good information about whether or not we've found a low here for Bitcoin. The Elliott Wave count that Jack and I have for the XRP is still expecting, well, not the XRP, just for XRP, still expecting overall upward movement for the short term. This is expected to be a pullback within the ongoing upward movement. The invalidation point quite close now at 1.7680. Jack's been over these targets, so I won't go over these. He did these in the last video. They're based on Fibonacci ratios or prior ratios. And we've also got some potential ending dates. We were looking at 23rd of February, the structure's incomplete and that date has passed. So now we're looking at March 26th for minor wave 3, July 17th for intermediate 3, and 5th of August for primary wave 3. Now as we get closer to these dates, if the structures need further time to unfold, we may use the next Fibonacci numbers in the sequence to calculate a further date, giving it more time. So these are subject to change. These are the best estimate we can do at this time. Overall, we are still expecting XRP is in a larger secular bull market, and there are consolidations and pullbacks along the way. This is an absolutely normal to be expected part of the larger bullish run. At the daily time frame, the invalidation point is the same. Here's the end of minute 3, zigzag for minute 4. Now minute 5 is most likely subdivide as an impulse, although it may also be an ending diagonal. But as this is a 5th wave to end a 3rd wave 1 degree higher at a reasonable degree, minor degree, it's extremely likely to subdivide as an impulse. XRP doesn't usually do ending diagonals, and I wouldn't expect that to end a 3rd wave. I am expecting a blow off top for the end of intermediate 3 and almost certainly for the end of primary 3. We may see quite a lot of strength at the end of minor 3 as well. If these targets are wrong, they may not be high enough. Within minute wave 5, minuet 2 looks like a complete zigzag. A, B and C looks like a nice 5-wave structure. If it continues lower, it may not move beyond the start of 1, below 1.7680. Very quickly, technicals for XRP, a couple of bullish candlesticks starting to form around support at 1.90. It looks like it might be getting ready to find a low again here. Look for next resistance if it does move higher at 2.7, and really strong resistance above at 3.32. We did get an all-time high, but not on a closing basis for XRP. There's been really strong resistance about 3.32, so it's absolutely unsurprising that we've got some consolidation and a bit of a pullback. Volume is not pushing price lower. Volume was strongly pushing price higher. The volume profile for XRP is really bullish, supporting the larger Elliott Wave count. Watch this range very carefully on your on-balance volume. Draw the support line and be a little bit flexible with it. If we see on-balance volume move below that support line, you might want to wait one further day so it's a really clean break, an obvious break, before you call it a bearish signal, and the resistance line likewise. No signal yet from on-balance volume. ADX is above both DX lines, but only just, so there is a downward trend for the short term for XRP, but it's extreme, but not nearly as extreme as it can get. The previous upward trend reached very extreme. ADX reached above 70. So there's a long way to go before this trend reaches as extreme as it can get. RSI is not oversold, so there is further room down for XRP to continue. Money flows not oversold, so there's plenty of room for this downward trend to continue, but there's strong support here, and we're starting to see bullish candlesticks form. Now this could be an interim low within an ongoing bearish movement for XRP, or it could be the final low. We need to wait to see strength and upward movement off a low before we can have confidence that the low will be sustained. That's it for me today with your analysis for those two. I hope you're all having a lovely day.